Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today's video is going to be a couple of tips and tricks for people who are in their late teens, right? Early 20s, mid 20s, right? Just to kind of help you guys get on the ball, start early, right? It's never too late to start, doing any of these, but it's definitely the earlier you start them, the better, right? So the first thing I want to talk about is self-control, right? And if you're lucky, right, you learn the skill or you were taught this skill as a kid, right? Now, if you weren't, keep in mind that the sooner you do learn this art of delaying gratification, the sooner you're going to find it easier to keep your finances in order, right? Because, although you can very easily buy an item on credit at a moment's notice whenever you want, right, it's better to wait until you've actually saved up the money for the purchase, right? Do you really want to pay interest on a box of cereal or some gum or some clothes, right? If you make a habit of putting all your purchases on credit cards, regardless of whether you can pay your bill in full at the end of the month, you might still be paying for those items in 10 years, right? If you want to keep your credit cards for the convenience factor, or maybe they have really good rewards, right? Make sure to always pay your balance in full when the bill arrives, right? And don't carry, 8, 9, 10 different credit cards, right? Most people recommend like 2 to 4, and this tip is really going to help you, you know, keep a healthy credit history, right? The next thing I want to talk about is, controlling your financial future, right? Because if you don't learn to manage your own money, other people will find ways to mismanage it for you, right? Some of these people may be ill intentioned, right? Commission based financial planners, stuff like that. Others may be, well meaning, but may not know what they're doing, right? Like, a grandma, a grandpa, an uncle, an aunt who really wants you to own your own house, even though you can only afford one by taking out a terrible adjustable rate mortgage, right? Instead of relying on others for advice, take charge and read a few basic books on personal finance. Once you're armed with some good, personal finance knowledge, don't let anyone catch you off guard, right? Whether it's a significant other who slowly siphons your bank account, or friends who want to go out and blow tons of money, on, going to the bar, taking trips once a month, doing all this crazy stuff. Just really try to get a hold on your personal finances. And the goal here is hopefully through a bunch of videos, I can help you guys understand some things and then put some of these things in practice, right? So the next thing I want to talk about is to know where your money goes, right? So once you've gone through a few personal finance books, or maybe some of the videos I put on here, or maybe you go watch Graham Stephan or Andre Jick, or someone like that, you'll realize how important it is to make sure your expenses are not exceeding your income, right? And the best way to do this is by budgeting, right? Once you see how the cost of your, like let's say with Grant Stephan, he talks about coffee. So once you see how the cost of your morning coffee adds up over the course of a month, you'll realize that making small manageable changes in your everyday expenses can have just as big an impact on your financial situation as getting a raise, right? In addition, keeping your recurring monthly expenses as low as possible is going to also save you a lot of money over time, right? If you don't waste your money on some extravagant apartment now, you might be able to afford a nice condo or a house before you know it. Okay? So the next thing we want to go ahead and jump into is an emergency fund, right? You need to start an emergency fund. One of personal finance's, very often repeated mantras is pay yourself first. No matter how much you owe in student loans, no matter how much your credit card debt is, no matter how low your salary may seem, it's wise to find some amount, any amount, of money in your budget to sock away in an emergency fund every month, right? I recommend having this automatically done. Like, for me personally, my checking and savings account, right? I have direct deposit through my job, And on every time we get paid, I have it to automatically set to put a portion of my money in my savings account and to put a portion into my investing account, and I invest and save every time I get paid before I do anything else, right? Having money in your savings to use for emergencies can really keep you out of trouble, financially, and help you sleep better at night. It's gonna feel really good knowing that, if something happens, you have one, two, 3,000, $5,000 sitting there waiting, right? But also, if you get into the habit of saving money and treating it as a non-negotiable monthly expense, pretty soon you'll have more than just emergency money saved up. You'll have retirement money, right? Vacation money, a down payment on, a home, or maybe you're going to buy a home to rent it out, right? And that's another source of income. Don't just hide this money under your mattress, right? Like, you want to put it, say, in like a high interest, savings account, or even a certificate of deposit, right? A CD, or a money market account, something, right? Otherwise, inflation is going to kill that money, right? It's just going to erode that savings. So that brings us to our next one, is saving for retirement, right? Because it's never too early to start saving for your retirement, right? Just as your parents sent you off to kindergarten, right, for you to start school, and their hopes to prepare you for being successful in, everyday life, which seems, just for as a kid forever away, right? When you're 5 or 6 year old, you're not thinking about 18, because that's 12 years, 13 years away from now. Like, that's forever, right? You need to prepare for your financial, retirement, right? You're like well in advance, because of how compound interest works. The sooner you start saving, the less principal you'll need to invest to end up with the amount you require to retire, and the sooner you'll be able to call working an option rather than a necessity, right? Company sponsored retirement plans are usually just an amazing choice if your company offers it, because you get to put in pre-tax dollars. Companies will often match part of your contribution, which is basically free money, and the contribution limit tends to be high, much more than you can contribute to, an IRA. Which is going to lead us to another one. Number 6, get a grip on taxes, right? It's important to understand how income taxes work even before you get your first paycheck, right? When a company offers you a starting salary, you need to know how to calculate whether that salary will give you enough money after taxes to meet your financial goals and obligations. Fortunately, there are plenty of online calculators that have taken the dirty work out of determining your own, payroll taxes. One that I know of is paycheckcity.com, if you guys want to try that one out. And these calculators are going to, they're going to show, your gross pay, how much goes to taxes, how much you'll be left with, how much you're left with would be, what's called your take-home pay, or your net, right? Your net pay. So let's say an annual salary of $35,000 in New York City would leave you with around $27,500 after taxes, without any exemptions last year, or about $2,300 a month. But by the same token, if you're considered leaving one job for another in search of a salary increase, you'll need to understand how your marginal tax rate is going to affect your raise, because a salary increase from $35,000 a year to $41,000 a year, right, won't give you an extra $6,000 or $500 per month. It's only going to give you an extra about $4,200, or around $350 a month, right? And that's really going to kind of depend on your state too, right? So you take that in consideration. But it's not as much as you think it is because of how taxes work and your marginal tax rate. So let's move into number 7. Guard your health, right? So if meeting monthly health insurance premiums seem, far-fetched, maybe impossible, right? What you should do if you have to go to the emergency room, right? Where a single visit for a minor injury like a broken bone is going to cost thousands of dollars. Like, what are you going to do, right? If you're uninsured, you don't need to wait to apply for health insurance, right? It's easier than you think to wind up in a car accident or to trip down the stairs, or a dog bite. Like, you just don't know. You can save money by getting quotes from different insurance providers to find the lowest rates. Also, though, by taking daily steps now to keep yourself healthy, like eating better, maintaining a healthy weight, exercising, not smoking, keeping your alcohol consumption low, and even driving defensively, you could benefit down the road when you aren't paying these giant medical bills, right? So, number 8, protect your wealth, right? If you want to make sure all of your hard earned money doesn't vanish, you'll need to take steps to protect it. If you rent, get renter's insurance to protect the contents of your place from events like theft or fire, right? Disability income insurance protects your greatest asset, the ability to earn an income, by providing you with a steady income if you ever become unable to work for an extended period of time due to illness or injury. If you want help managing your money, find a fee only financial planner to provide unbiased advice that's in your best interest rather than a commission based financial advisor who earns money when you sign up with the investments their money, their organization or their company or their firm backs, right? You'll also want to protect your money from taxes, which is easy to do with a retirement account, and inflation, which you can do by making sure all of your money is earning interest through things like high interest savings accounts, money market funds, CDs, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, just anything, index funds, however you want to invest it, right? So the bottom line is going to be, right, to, remember that you don't need, any special background, any, fancy degree. You don't need anything to become an expert at managing your finances. You can use these 8 rules and tips for your life, and you can be as personally prosperous as someone with a hard-won MBA in finance, right? Because it's not difficult, right? It just takes a little bit of planning, right? A little bit of, reading and understanding. And if you don't want to read, I've got plenty of videos for you to watch. Graham Stephan has plenty of videos for you to watch, right? Andre Jick has a bunch of videos for you to watch. There's plenty of stuff on YouTube. I'm sure it's just a search away, right? And I really want you guys to be able to, do well in life. So hopefully this video does well for you guys. And I really hope you enjoyed it. If you want to go ahead and subscribe and like the video, I'd really appreciate it. Until I see you guys in the next video, y'all be safe.